After 2 weeks in Vietnam, we've left the country. We spent 5 days in Hanoi, then a few days in Halong Bay, 3 days in Hoi An, in the middle of the country, and then the rest of the time in Ho Chi Minh City. But now we're left. Yesterday we went on a bus from Ho Chi Minh City and headed north to the capital of the country we're in now. And this afternoon we're getting on a plane to go to Siem Riep, further north. We're now in Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia, and this is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Meet Palle Bo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything, his house, his car, his furniture, and set out with a quest to visit every single country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond podcast.
Here in Phnom Penh, I have the feeling that the preferred means of transport is a tuk-tuk. There are tuk-tuks everywhere, and it's easy. And compared to Thailand, it's also cheap. So we've been riding on tuk-tuks a couple of times, and even when we're going the 10 kilometers to the airport this afternoon, we plan to use a tuk-tuk. And they are really eager to get a ride because there's so many of them. So they yell from the streets whenever we're walking here if we want a tuk-tuk. This episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. What do you do when you need to find a hotel? Well, if you were just like me in the old days, you might go to the same website every single time, and in my case it was always Hotels.com, and that's a great site, but sometimes there are other hotel websites that gives exactly the same room at exactly the same hotel at a lower price. So if you want to make sure that you get the best price, you need to go to all the different websites, and that takes time, and honestly, you don't know them all. Hotels25 does that for you. It searches around 15 of the major websites at the same time and tells you where it's available and where you get the best price. That saves you both time and money. And that's exactly what happened to me when we were going here to Cambodia. I found a hotel that was 30% cheaper at a website that I didn't even know about. I would never have found that if I just went to a couple of the websites. Hotels25.com, it's best price guaranteed. Here in Cambodia, it's quite unique. The currency you use when you pay, you buy anything, is US dollars. So I tried to get some Cambodian riel when we got here. Went to an ATM, but it was not possible to get anything else than US dollars in the ATM, and that was kind of weird. I was trying to get out $500,000 of Cambodian riel, which was a little more than $100, and I punched in 500,000, and I kept on being declined. I couldn't understand why, but apparently it was because it was $500,000 US dollars I was requesting. So thank God it didn't give me that. Well, I don't know. And when you buy some stuff, you get money in return in Cambodian riel, but apparently that's the way it is. Cambodia, population 13 to 14 million. In size, it's number 88 on the list, just below Syria and just a little bit bigger than Uruguay. Many of us can't think of Cambodia without thinking of the black part in history with Khmer Rouge run by Pol Pot. And we're talking genocide in a massive scale. During his regime, it's estimated that somewhere between 800,000 and 3 million people were killed with bamboo sticks, strangled with plastic bags, or tortured to death, or starved. And at that time, it was with a population of a little more than 7 million. Let me just run a few of those numbers again. Maybe 3 million people died with a population of 7 million. That is insane. A lot of people say that 25% of the population were killed and that around 2.5 million more died of diseases and starvation as a direct consequence of Pol Pot's regime. That is totally insane. There are memorials all over Cambodia that they call killing fields. And today we're visiting one of those places here in Phnom Penh.
So they created the National Servant Front and joined with the Vietnamese soldiers and come to...
We only have one day here in Phnom Penh, so we get on a tuk-tuk to be able to see a lot in a short period of time.
Oh, yeah. See the ladder?
Yeah.
That's clever.
And our driver is really talkative.
Okay, over there you see the sign of the memory of the journalists missing and killed during the Civil War before they stayed up for... Okay, over there you see the sign of the memory of the journalists missing and killed during the Civil War before they stayed up for a hotel nearby there.
Yeah.
He tells me a lot that, honestly, I don't really understand, even though I, here after the drive, have listened to these recordings again and again. I don't really get what he's talking about, so I'm not going to waste your time sharing a lot of it.
Since the government occupied old building of the...
Even though I feel that there's a good story here, but I only catch fractions of it.
The bone that float, it means that when you were a child, your parents abandon you or give you up for...
He was one of the people that were portrayed in a book called Bones That Float.
In the book they put my name Sowan, but National Geographic they put my real name because...
He wants to be anonymous, as he was in the book.
They did not allow you to be alive because they said that they send you to get education and you really... When they said like that, not long you might disappear. Recently one is gunned down to death in the gas station.
And then he talks about a journalist that was gunned down in a gas station 6 months ago because he was getting too nosy.
Would like to tell you more, but it's not safe, you know.
And he said that he would like to tell me more, but it wasn't secure, and maybe I shouldn't be standing here on the streets with my microphone.
So I shouldn't be waving the microphone around.
It was so bizarre, but a lot got lost in translation. So I put the microphone away, and instead we continued the tour around Phnom Penh, and later that afternoon we get on a flight to Siem Riep. Siem Riep, in the northwestern part of Cambodia, has a population of around 140,000. Siem Riep is a few kilometers south of the Angkor temples, one of the main reasons that a lot of tourists go here every year. I've heard that almost 5 million foreign tourists came here to Siem Riep in 2015, and that is a number that just goes up and up. But still, it doesn't feel like a place that's been ruined by too many tourists. Angkor Wat and the other temples are, as I mentioned, a big part of the attraction, but this area has so much more to offer than just temples. Here in Siem Riep, there's so much that my daughter Clara and we sat down around the pool at the hotel and agreed on a top 7. A list of what you must see, in our opinion, when you go here to Siem Riep. And here it is. Number 7, Pub Street. It's a street with a lot of party going on. Obviously there's a lot of pubs, but there's also street food, a lot of exciting restaurants, karaoke bars and live music, and well, there's music everywhere. It's one of those streets where they compete who can play the loudest. There were 2 street food vendors next to each other that both brought giant speakers, and then they just turned it up to 11. Maybe it's me that's getting old, but I really don't understand why they don't have some sort of meeting in the street and someone say, listen guys, this is not good for any of us. Can't we agree on something or make some kind of arrangement? But no, I don't think that's gonna happen. Still, it's a great place. We went there a few times, and one of the times we went to a special food where you cook the meat yourself, sitting at the table. We had 10 kinds of more or less exotic food that we were to put on the frying pan ourselves. Besides the more normal beef, pork, lamb and chicken, there were also kangaroo, crocodile, snake, frog's legs, just to name a little of it. And we tasted it all. We were there with two wonderful Irish people, Flavia and Clancy. We met them on the cruise in Halong Bay, and they were going here to Siem Riep at the same time, so we spent a few days with them. And also this night in Pub Street, that was number 7 on the list. Number 6, the Landmine Museum. They say that there are still around 5 million landmines in the Cambodian soil. The Landmine Museum tells the amazing story of a Khmer man, Akira, that with his own 2 hands dug out and removed thousands of landmines. That is now on display at the museum. It's so impressive, especially that he did it with his hands and not with machines as most people do it today. The money that the museum makes from guests like us also goes to supporting a school where they teach around 25 kids that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity. Both they and the staff live here in the relief center, as they call the school, right next to the museum. You must visit number 6 on the list, not only that it's very interesting, but also a way to support the good cause, the Landmine Museum. I put a link in the show notes. Just before we went to the museum, we went to number 5 on the list, National Park Koulen Mountain. It has an incredible, beautiful nature, and we got the chance to swim at a waterfall. A lot of places in downtown Siem Reap you can get fish foot massage. That's obviously something you pay for, but here at the waterfall you get it for free. As soon as you go into the water, there are a lot of fish that are eating away at your feet. It's very tickling and a little bit scary, but quite an experience. We also became good friends with Philip, the driver that just by chance was the one that drove us from the airport when we arrived. So we stayed in touch and hired him to drive us to Koulen Mountain and the Landmine Museum. Very nice guy, good driver, good English. I put a link to his Facebook page on theradiovagabond.com, so you can get in touch with him and use him as a driver when you get here to Siem Reap. Tell him I said hi. On the way there, we also went to see the Big Buddha. It's a temple area with a big reclining Buddha. Very impressive and quite an experience, but not enough to get on the list. But the next one did, The Great Escape. It's number 4 on the list. We also went there with Flavio and Clancy. The Great Escape is one of those escape rooms that I also saw a lot of in the eastern part of Europe. The idea is that you get locked in a room that has some kind of theme. And then you search the room and look for keys and codes and other stuff that can open a small box where there might be a code to the computer that might give access to a drawer where there might be a key to the door. It's very fun, exciting and stressful, and you need to be creative and really use your brain. We chose a room called Prison Break. So we were put in orange jumpsuits and locked with handcuffs to the bars inside a small prison cell. Of course, I can't reveal how we got out, but we did. And within the 60 minutes, we had to our prison break. You'll find pictures and links on theradiovagabond.com. And now we're into top 3. Number 3 on the list is Phare The Cambodian Circus.
So now we're about to go into Phare The Cambodian Circus, and we saw some videos on the website and it looks just amazing. I don't know what to expect from it. I don't think there's going to be animals or anything like that, but I think there's going to be a lot of acrobatics, and they tell a story. That's what I hear. It's right in here.
The kids in this show had so much energy. The performance was both touching, funny, energetic, and spectacular. Phare The Cambodian Circus obviously pays and feeds all the people working with the show, but they also support a school.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you have a good time? Do you want to see that again? The show come back tomorrow.
After the show, I got a chance to speak to their leader, Kongkea. That was the guy with the microphone that said, "Come back tomorrow." I did that in the middle of the arena where all the performing artists, all still full of energy, were taking pictures with the audience.
How much work goes into making a performance like this?
Every day we perform a lot. We have pre-perform before we go out to our main perform. We spend 2 hours to practice before we go to our main perform. And they're all from the experience, almost 10 year experience.
And they have so much energy even after the show. Look at them, they're standing here taking pictures with the audience, and they're like, do they never slow down?
Actually, they are the Cambodian people. They have the food in us before the show, and so that to make them powerful for performance and after the show. Yeah.
And the circus supports the kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the school, and they are from the school also. And our school located at Battambang province, and we opened since 1995 until now. And we have like the circus, the music, and the graphic design, and many subjects that we free for the student. They can enroll for free.
We also had a picture taken, and you'll find that with links to Phare The Cambodian Circus on the radiovagabond.com. Number 2, Angkor ballooning.
We're here in Cambodia, outside of Siem Riep, and about to fly on these things that they're getting ready in the background.
We decided to do something out of the ordinary.
I'm so excited.
Flying with a hot air balloon as the sun was setting one night. So we booked a trip with Angkor ballooning.
This is the sound of a hot air balloon getting ready for takeoff. We're 8 people in the basket, and a number of people outside is holding us down. Above us is a hot air balloon. I would think it's around 30 meters to the top of it, and it's swaying back and forth. We haven't left the ground yet, but we're about to. They have a huge gas burner sending up a giant flame into this balloon. And on each side there's another balloon, and we're about to go balloon flying here in Cambodia.
What are your thoughts right now?
Honestly, I'm a little worried that the bottom... Oh, okay. It seems illogical that the bottom of this basket will not fall off.
and I'm standing leaning up against the door of this basket, but I checked it looks quite secure, and hey, you only live once.
Please don't YOLO me.
It's more dangerous to cross the street.
That's
in
right,
Hanoi.
Still.
Oh, the other one's lifting off now.
Oh my god, oh my god, we're falling.
Notice there's nothing tying it to the ground. There's no strings attached. So, God knows where we're gonna land. Okay, we have officially left the ground. We're taking off now. Here we are in a hot air balloon, and for like how long now?
I don't know, I've lost all sense of time. It's such a surreal experience.
Just when we, maybe 15-20 minutes, I would guess. Just when we took up off the ground, it was scary.
Very scary.
But now not so much.
No,
it's very nice right now, and kids down below are waving because they know that there might be some candy being dropped off. See this guy over there running. And the sun is completely red right now.
So beautiful.
No candy. No candy. Hello.
This has been one of the most amazing experiences. We've just landed with a hot air balloon right here on this field in the middle of Cambodia, in the countryside outside of Siem Riep. It was half an hour ride, and it was truly an amazing view from up there. In the beginning, we were quite far up in the air, and then a bit later we came lower, just above the treetops. And the hot air balloon pilot, I don't know if that's what it's called, he were handing out candy to all the passengers, not to eat but to throw down to the kids.
On a field with small bushes, we landed, and a lot of the kids came, the kids that got the candy that we dropped off the balloon. They came and helped us get the air out of the balloon. They were jumping around, pushing the air out of it. It was, I guess, their way of saying thanks for the candy, but also they had a lot of fun. And they probably do this every night. Of course, you'll also find a link to Angkor ballooning on the radiovagabond.com. And finally, number one on the list, and yeah, it comes as no surprise, Angkor Wat. And when I say Angkor Wat, then, well, it's a little bit wrong, because Angkor Wat is just the biggest of the temples. There are so many temples in Angkor that in the old days was the capital of the Khmer Empire. In fact, there are more than 1,000, and it varies from just a pile of rubble to gigantic, impressive temples where you think, how in the world could they build that without machines around 1,000 years ago? They say that around 2 million people visit the temples every year, and there were a lot that, like us, got up very early to see the sunrise. But first we needed to get the tickets, so we went to the tourist office.
It's very early in the morning. We were picked up by the hotel at 4:45, and right now we're standing in line with hundreds of other people this early in the morning getting ready to buy the ticket to Angkor Wat. And I'm here with the guide, Sunyak.
Yes.
Sunyak, you've been a guide to Angkor Wat for a long time.
Yeah, 27 years.
And sometimes you go there many times in a month?
Yes, sometimes, yeah. Like 10 days or 20 days in a month.
Wow.
In the high season.
Yeah.
But low seasons, maybe 3 days or 5 days in a month.
Okay. Okay.
So not many tourists.
Okay. Right now is high season.
High season. Yeah.
So you're a busy man right now.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, the high season. Yeah.
So 27 years. Wow.
Yeah. So a long time.
Yeah.
After we got the tickets, we got back on the waiting tuk-tuk where the young driver was taking us and our guide Sun Ye to the big Angkor Wat temple. It's the one you always see in pictures. And so we found a spot and armed with a cup of coffee among the thousands of other tourists getting ready to see and take pictures of the sun rising behind the temple. And then followed a day where we were walking a lot, admiring the temples and driving from one temple to another. At one point we sat down to rest and I spoke some more to Sun Ye. He's 50 years old and has been a guide for 27 years, after being a policeman and, like most other young men here, a Buddhist monk. He tells me that it was the boss of the tourist office that spotted him because his English was so good.
The boss probably is from the tourist office. He saw me and then he called me to become the public guide in tourist office. Yeah.
But you were a policeman at that time?
Yeah, before I became the policeman and then the tour guides, and the monks. So I have been the monks. I have been the monk for 4 years, and then become the tour guide again.
And I can imagine, because you've been a tour guide before this was a UNESCO site, so much have changed over the years.
Yeah. So before UNESCO, here is do not have good environments. Like some place they have mines, like minefields. So very dangerous for the animals and the peoples.
Is it still killing people today?
Yes, kill the peoples 2 days, every days.
But here in 2017, a lot of tourists are coming to Siem Riep. How has that changed Siem Riep?
Yeah, so it was a change because tourists really so very important in Cambodia. So beside the tourists, Cambodia have fish and rice, fish and tourists. So very important.
Rice, fish, and tourists.
Yeah, so very important. And Cambodia has been changed, so everything very fast.
Yeah. And they are building hotels like crazy here.
Yeah, so many 5-star hotels. Yes. And all the hotels, boutiques or guest house, they have swimming pools. From 1 to 1, very attractive eyes for all the visitors.
Do you have a good life? Do you like?
Yes. I have good life for 2 days. Because a lot of tourists. So no tourists, no jobs. Yes. So all the young people become the private staff, and the old people not become the private staff in hotels or private companies. Yes. The old people become the farmers, like farming people.
Just to get a feeling of how many tourists come here, you work for a private tour company. How many people are tour guides in that company?
Maybe 8,000 guides. So we have a lot of guys who speak different international languages.
Do you speak different languages apart from English and your own?
Yeah, I speak English and Thai, Cambodia. Cambodia. So he have a lot of tourists. Maybe 6 million visit for 1 year. So a lot of young people have jobs.
6 million, that's more than the population of Denmark that come here to Siem Riep.
Yeah, I come to Siem Riep, so everywhere.
With an age of 50, he was a young man in the late 70s during the Khmer Rouge regime.
Soniak, you've been living in Siem Riep all your life?
Yeah, I have been live in Siem Riep in the whole life.
Yeah.
But in the Pol Pot regime, they move the people from the city to live in the countryside.
Yeah. Pol Pot was in power in the 70s?
Yeah, Pol Pot have power from the year 1975 to 79.
Yeah. And you were a teenager. You were 15, 16?
Yes, I have maybe 15 or 16 years old, and I got punishment from the soldiers of the Pol Pot regime.
But why?
I don't know.
Did you do something wrong?
I don't have wrongs. Yeah, in that time, they have many political parties. The people in Pol Pot regime, they kill the people in the Lona regime, and the people in the Lona regime, they kill the peoples in Pol Pot regime. So very hard to say because a lot of political parties like this.
But you were just a big boy. You were not political active,
no,
or
I do not do the politicals and not become because I just a boy. Yeah, just a boy. So I don't know about the politicals.
What about your parents?
My parents, he just farmers.
So what happened when you were punished? In what way?
They tie my hands and hit me by the stick of the tree, like stick wood. Yeah. So they hit me like this every day.
Why would they do that?
I don't know, because all the people they did like this also. Yeah, it's not only me, so all the people got like me also. Yeah, and some of the children has separated from the parents and then bring to kill like one by one every day. Every day, 3 million people have been killed.
Did you fear for your life?
Yeah, so very afraid. I don't want to remember there.
No, thanks. After lunch, we were sitting in the tuk-tuk waiting for the driver, and 2 adorable little girls came up to us and tried to sell some magnets for the fridge.
Okay, $2. $3 plus plate. $3 $1. Okay, $4 $1.
First they say 2 for $1, and then we smiled and said no thanks, and then they just say okay, 3 for $1, and then okay, 4 for $1, and then okay, 3 for $1, and they go up and down, and even they can see the funny part of it.
$10 $1. So you buy one about them, you buy one $2 $1.
Okay, please. Tapom. They don't understand.
That's so cute.
2 adorable, cute girls. And when we're not interested in the magnets, then one of the girls pull out a flute.
That's so cute.
In fact, the very top of this list could have been the Cambodian people. They are truly very smiling and wonderful people. Yeah, Siem Riep can be a little bit too touristy, but they managed to keep their very special Cambodian culture, and it's a wonderful town with a lot to see.
The only thing they need to control is the music in Pop Street. Please agree on what you want to play and how loud. Alternatively, you can drink a lot so you really don't feel it. And that's a possibility. There'll be one more episode here from Siem Riep. And here I speak to the young manager of the hotel we're staying at. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few seconds, but first I want to say that this episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that compares all the major travel sites and tells you exactly where you get the best price. It searches Hotels.com, Get a Room, Expedia, Late Rooms, Hotels Info, and many, many more in one simple search. So you'll always find what you're looking for and always get the best price. No fees, no markup. Hotels25.com, it's best price guaranteed.
In next week's episode on the Radio Vagabond podcast.
The name of our hotel manager is Putsa. He's a 24-year-old guy that grew up in a poor family on a farm. But thanks to extremely hard work and a random meeting with an American couple, his life was completely changed. But he still has dreams to do much, much more. It's an amazing, touching story that you don't want to miss. So make sure that you subscribe to the Radio Vagabond podcast in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And please do me a favor. Please write a review in iTunes and share this podcast with your friends.
If you like this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes or the podcast app on your smartphone. You can see pictures, watch videos, and read much more on the radiovagabond.com. Pale can be reached for interviews and public speaking gigs on mail at theradiovagabond.com.
My name is Palabo, and we're staying here in Siem Riep. See you.